Leon Douglas, Director of Player Development for Iowa State University football. The Beyond the Field framework by Ed Jones II is an awesome player development resource that just continues to move what can be done and what can be achieved in this space. I think oftentimes, programming has the opportunity to get stale. Much like teaching, it's very easy to rinse and repeat what you've done year after year. But this new framework allows a player development professional to come up with new ideas to build on a lot of the practices that Ed has found to be tried and true to make an impact with young people. In regards to key takeaways, I think, initially starting from the beginning with the B, with belonging, creating a sense of belongingness. That's, I think, something that's often taken for granted in this space, considering that the student athlete has been recruited, he made a decision to come here, and that once he has signed and committed to be here, that everything is all good, right? And that's definitely not the case, in that the process of having that sense of belongingness, having the awareness to recognize that that's important to you, and to have a staff on the other side have mindfulness to keep that in mind, to build structures and cultures that take into account the individual aspect of the student athlete experience, I think is big. I think the belongingness goes beyond just a student athlete seeing themselves on the walls in the facility, but more importantly, is the practices, is the culture, is how a student athlete feels congruent to what they want to feel, to what they need from an environment, and that things are directly put in place to give that student athlete an opportunity for success beyond the game. So here at Iowa State, I think one of the components of our program that is strong, that we're doing a solid job of, is just the career readiness emphasis, being able to provide our student athletes with professional opportunities that enhance their major or their desired profession experience, whether that's throughout the summer with micro internships, job shadowing opportunities, being able to take things a step further and realize what other components we can add to make our program more well-rounded. One of the concepts that really opened my eyes today with working with Ed is the fact of understanding where the disconnect can occur, right? Understanding where there are opportunities to have a letdown, where there are opportunities to have gaps where creates some gray area. And so one of the things I really want to sit down with my assistant is to really understand in what ways can we provide more support in those areas where clarity doesn't really exist, to where we can provide more of a framework to support our student athletes, especially in the regard to, getting athletes that are new to the program at the mid-year point to the point where they can have a smooth transition into our culture here at Iowa State University. A little bit about my background. So for 15 years, I was a high school educator. My early years were 2 at the elementary level while coaching at the high school level, and then I spent 9 years teaching as a high school teacher. Then I was fortunate to spend the last 4 as an assistant principal, and 13 years of that as a high school football coach. And so coming from that background, having a natural interest, a natural concern to develop students holistically, a lot of what I've been able to put into practice during my time at this level as an assistant as an assistant director of player development and as a director of player development is more so what I was able to learn and find important to student athlete development as a high school coach and as a high school teacher. And so a lot of this work, it does seem like a lot, but it's necessary. The game of football requires a lot of time from coaches and student athletes. And I think it's often very dismissive to just consume that time with components that are just based on the right now window of playing football and not think about, the long-term impact that an individual, that a coach, that a teacher can have in helping a student athlete become the best version of themselves. And so having somebody as a resource like Ed is great to lean on. I would encourage any high school educator, any high school decision maker to take the time to learn more about the resources that Ed has created and really bring him in as from a consultant standpoint or a resource standpoint to really help that school, help that coach, help that program make more of an impact in the overall development of their student athletes. I think in this regard, it's very often to see this component within the football program framework, but in reality, all student athletes deserve a holistic, intentional program that cares and develops who they are outside of the game.